On today's Part of My Take, we have Matt Schaub. Retired but not retired, Matt Schaub, 17-year NFL vet, legend of the game. We have John Coon. We have the Lowman Trophy. If you missed the presentation, it was the most important trophy presentation that happened last night.
Only one that had somebody's phone go off with a doorbell sound.
No, you didn't see Reese Davis's?
Oh, his one? No, it was Chris Fowler.
Oh, yeah, it was Chris Fowler.
Yeah.
I think these are noise activated, by the way.
Yeah, I think they don't start until it's like the clapper.
I actually think it's just Pete, and that's where he sleeps at night, and he waits for us to get started with a show.
Hey, Pete,
and just annoys us.
Yeah, so that's the pipes are back.
Smell him from a mile away.
We have hot seat, cool throne. We have guys on chicks. We have the Browns getting fucked over, and a lot more. And we're also brought to you by our friends at the Cash App. We're always brought to you by the Cash App. Part of My Take is sponsored by the Cash App. We're in the Cash App studio right now. Go download the Cash App. Use code Barstool for $10 for free, $10 to the ASPCA. You can download it with the App Store or Google Play Store today. And please, please support us by supporting the Cash App. It's free money. Download that Cash App, Cash App, Cash App, Cash App. It links directly to your bank account, and it is the best app in the world. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Part of My Take, presented by the Cash App. Go download it right now. Use code Barstool. You get $10 for free, $10 to the ASPCA. Today is Wednesday, January 6th, and Trevor Lawrence won the fan vote for the Heisman, which I'm counting as a win for my bet. But more importantly, I almost said Philip Buchanan. I almost said James Buchanan, but it's Jacoby Buchanan has won the Lowman Trophy.
That's a fact. He is the Lowman of the year, the best fullback in college football. That's what everyone was talking about today.
Fact.
All the papers are saying it, and it was a big upset for the Masons. I think the Masons split each other's votes. There were three Masons that were nominated for the Lowman Trophy.
The three Masons. That's a thing.
The three Masons.
Three Masons.
Yeah, we were saying that. Did you listen
watch
to the
the
show?
Lowman presentation?
We already addressed the Freemason controversy.
I said it would be like if we had a 5-year-old introduce them, he would say, "And here are the Freemasons."
And also,
trying to say three.
Hank, this is like a teachable moment here. Do you know what a Mason does?
Lays bricks.
They make blocks. Same thing as a fullback. Mason Wake, I saw that he's using this as motivation. He said revenge tour next year.
Oh,
he goes
to
BYU, so he's going to be there till he's 35.
Yep, he's going to be soaking
and Sean
forever.
Payton's going to pay him $35 million.
I love that. All right, so the real Heisman winner, I bet on Trevor Lawrence, so I tried as hard as I could to get the conversation going, which was futile. But the real Heisman winner deserved it. It was Devontae Smith. He was incredible. It's actually, I was thinking about it, when you look at some of his game stats, he is essentially like if you, in NCAA 14, you just created a wide receiver and made him 99 across the board. Mississippi State, 203 yards, 4 touchdowns, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns against Kentucky, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns against Auburn, 231 yards, 3 touchdowns against LSU, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns against Florida, 130 yards, 3 touchdowns against Notre Dame.
Well,
he was insane.
It's the SEC. They don't play defense there.
Yeah.
That's a big knock against the conference.
First wide receiver to win it since 1991. Very, very much deserved. Also, just an absolute I'm happy that Devontae Smith hopefully has a long, storied NFL career because he is now Slim Reaper, the Durantula, or the servant, Kevin Durant, was given that nickname but did not take it, a decade ago? It is one of the greatest nicknames ever, and it's deserved for Devontae Smith because his legs are so skinny, and the Slim Reaper is such an awesome nickname.
They're tiny. They're tiny little legs. Like Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs could floss with his legs.
Yes.
There was one picture that ESPN's Twitter account put out where it looked like a towel was hanging down from his pants.
Yes.
But you know what? He's very fast, and I assume that Nick Saban makes him work out, so he's probably very strong in his lower body.
Yep.
Just no wasted area.
It's just, I'm just happy that someone is the Slim Reaper because it is such an exceptional nickname. So the Heisman happened.
PK, you're leaving out another one of the huge the big winner of the night, besides those two that you mentioned, was Kyle Trask. Because if the NFL doesn't work out for him, he can always be in a Mountain Dew commercial.
Yep.
Starring a boy band. He looks like if Mountain Dew sponsored a boy band.
Yep.
Mixed with Billy football.
Billy was getting some Kyle Trask love. I said it about a month ago that Kyle Trask, if you were analyzing, if you were scouting these crop of quarterbacks, Kyle Trask's facial hair is a huge negative. That is not a franchise quarterback. That is a like a sixth inning reliever, maybe a long reliever. I'm not talking about like a good reliever. I'm talking about a guy who comes in when someone gets shelled and he's like, all right,
You're also talking about the year 1996,
right?
Middle reliever.
But
yeah,
he's got to fix that. If Indy happens and the combine happens, I don't know if it will, but if I were one of the scouts, that would be the first thing I'd ask and be like, how much are you in love with your facial hair? Because it has to go.
I like, though, that it kind of sneaks up on you because if you watch him play football enough, he's always got the chin strap on. And then when he takes it off, it's like, whoa, what just happened there? It's like when high school basketball players have to cover up their tattoos, and then they take the sleeves off. You're like, wow, okay, that guy gets down.
Yep.
Kyle Trask, yeah, but you know what? He can always shave. And I think that the issue with his facial hair is, and I'm still dealing with this to this very day with my own, is sometimes you just grow facial hair in the place that you can grow it.
Yeah.
And in college, you're definitely in that spot where you've got some friends that have full beards, you've got some friends with mustaches, and Kyle Trask, I'm sure, can only grow facial hair in the area like between his bottom lip and the top of his chin.
Yeah, so he's got to fix that. And then Mac Jones, I think Mac Jones finished third, Kyle Trask 4, Najee Harris 5. Mac Jones, by the way, Mac is a great name. His real name's Michael, but his middle name is McCorkle.
Okay.
That's why he's Mac Jones.
McCorkle Jones.
McCorkle, that's a plus.
McCorkle Jones sounds like a Disney character, like a rapping mouse.
Or like an old like curmudgeon-y Irish bartender who only will serve you one type of beer. It's like, nope, that's all we have.
We've got both kinds. We've got
dark and light.
We've got Guinness and Beamish.
McCorkle Jones. All right, other news.
Browns are fucked.
The Browns are getting fucked. So the Browns coaching staff, pretty much their whole coaching staff, Kevin Stefanski, the most important one, obviously, has the cocoa. They are not going to be able to coach on Sunday night. The NFL is not giving them any like wiggle room. Now, the real issue is like if this was an isolated case, I'd be like, okay, I guess the NFL, like there's nothing they can do. They got to play the playoffs. The NFL has basically just been powering through the Browns having a mini outbreak the last 3 weeks. They've had like they practice squad guys last week.
They've got their hands over their ears because they're saying like
wide receivers the week before.
I think the quote is it's not a team infection issue, it's a community issue.
Every single week.
One of the only businesses that's open in that entire city is the Cleveland Browns front office. So yeah, every week. And they've had like 6 receivers get it.
You know, it was the entire receiver room, then it was the entire cornerbacks room.
Yeah.
Now it's the coaching staff, but it's not an outbreak.
It's not. I guess it's not an outbreak.
What happens if
they should let Kevin Stefanski coach from a scissor lift on the sideline, or they should have him like put a hospital bed in one of the suites like Hugh Freeze did. Have Stefanski giving the thumbs up, thumbs down, run or pass.
Yep.
There should be a way to get around this because
Agreed.
They're making up all these rules as they go along anyways. So why not, if you can figure out a way to have Kevin Stefanski there, if he's not symptomatic, if he's feeling healthy, like there should be a way for him to be in isolation. I'm sure the Browns would be able to figure out a way. Like the Cleveland Clinic is right there. They'd be able to figure out a way to like medically evacuate him to Pittsburgh and back. And the more I think about it, the more I think maybe the Browns are just getting all the good tests for COVID.
Yeah.
Maybe because they are next to the Cleveland Clinic.
That's true.
Maybe their tests are way better than everywhere else in the league.
So I have 2 solutions. One a joke, one that's very selfish and I just want to watch it, and one a real one that I actually think the NFL should propose. The joke one is I would love for the Browns. They basically are like, all right, so you have 5 coaches out. You can pick any of your 5 former head coaches and bring them back. Hugh Jackson. We'll have even the coordinators, Todd Haley, Greg Williams. Now, that would be funny. The real solution, and I'm being dead serious on this, they should just be like, Bill Belichick can coach the Browns on Sunday.
I'm okay with Bill Belichick and Nick Saban.
Like, okay.
And Nick Saban.
Like, but seriously, wouldn't that be – it would be the greatest entertainment to be like, okay, let's see how great of a coach you are, Bill Belichick. You show up 5 days to prep your team. Browns fans would absolutely take it. Be like, okay, we don't have a coach. This will be our coach for this week. I think it would be an incredible thing to watch.
I mean, the Browns are a private organization. They can hire whoever they want right now, right?
But I don't think the Patriots would let them
No,
hire
not Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
I'm saying like
Hugh Jackson.
They could bring back Hugh Jackson and Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, that's the joke.
No.
Joke one.
Okay, so
yeah.
how about you give the Steelers Hugh Jackson and then you just coach normally.
But seriously,
But Hugh has to call all the plays.
And Tomlin can be the Browns coach.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, they should.
Could you imagine though?
They should be able to hire whoever they want though. Like if there's an Urban Meyer or if there's a coach that is out there right now that knows offensive football, that knows how to coach, you should be able to pick up like a guy.
But just imagine
named Jeff Fisher.
I like that. I like where your head's at. But imagine if they actually were just like, you know what, Browns, we're fucking you over. You get Bill Belichick.
Yeah, well,
and let's just see what happens. It would be the greatest game to watch, most fascinating storyline of all time.
I've got a little sliver of hope for Browns fans, and that's that you are a team of destiny. This is something I found out yesterday. I've been saving this, Big Cat. Big Cat.
Okay, go ahead. Sell me.
Sell
me
saving
this pen.
It has nothing to do with this weekend, but it does have to do with the fact that the Super Bowl is being played on the 1-year anniversary of a very important time in the Cleveland Browns organization.
Oh, is it Swagger's death?
It's the 1-year anniversary of Swagger's death.
Oh, wow.
Their dog died a year ago on the exact date of the Super Bowl.
Okay, so unfortunately, I like what you're trying to do for the listeners of this show that are Browns fans looking for anything. Knowing the Browns' history and how cursed they are, I think that just means that Swagger Jr. is going to die on the Super Bowl.
Well, I don't know because everything changed after Swagger died. You saw the tweet that reminded us
Yes.
of the death yesterday, and I went back, I did the math and saw. Well, I looked at dates and figured out that it was on
Ryan
Super Bowl
Lochte
Sunday.
did.
Ryan Lochte it, but the funeral was well after. It was a couple weeks after the death. It was the first and probably the last, we would hope, open casket funeral for a dog that I was aware of.
Yes.
When Swagger 1 died. But Swagger 2 is a winner. Swagger 1 was a lot of things to a lot of people, but a winner he was not. Swagger 2 had all the best attributes of Swagger. Swagger 1 laid the foundation for Swagger 2 to come in and turn the Browns into a winning team. But 1 year later, I feel like if they get – that is a Team of Destiny vibe.
Yeah, except for everything else that's happened to them.
That's also kind of a Team of Destiny vibe.
We'll see. I mean, it sucks. Jeff D'Lo, our good friend and colleague, who is a diehard Browns fan, I told him, I was like, look, listen, dude, this sucks, but as I would put the Browns probably in the category of what we said on Monday, we're the non-threatening party goers in the playoffs this year. Is it the worst thing that you get a built-in excuse and be like, we could have won this game if the NFL didn't fuck us over?
No, it's not bad.
I wouldn't hate if the Bears had to have a built-in excuse instead of just sucking. We got screwed.
Right. The good news for Browns fans is, well, in addition to that, you're playing the Steelers, and the Steelers aren't great. It's a very winnable game. Now, some would call it a disadvantage to having no head coach.
This is the first time since Bill Belichick that not having a head coach is actually a disadvantage.
That's what I was saying. I was like, listen, there are years in the past where having your head coach get COVID, that would have been a plus, but it is very Browns to have it be like the one year that we couldn't have this happen.
Had a really good coach.
It went down.
Yeah. All right, other news, Tommy Lasorda's back out of the hospital. Fuck yes. Let's go, Tommy. Anything else? We taped the end of the show earlier, so we'll talk about the Ohio State Stay Woke, COVID.
I'm keeping an update.
Kim Ye.
Yeah, Kim Ye. R.I.P. True Love.
I cannot
I'm gonna
believe
put
this.
True Love on my hot seat before we do Hot Seat Cool Throne.
Yeah.
They broke up. Those doe-eyed little kids couldn't work it out.
If there was any couple that I thought would stand the test of time, it was Kim Ye. Mm-hmm. I think we can all agree, right? And then everyone's going to cry about it and be like, oh, my God, how could celebrities divorce?
We might get a great Kanye album coming out of this, though.
That would be cool. Oh,
like Taylor
Hank's
Swift.
No.
Taylor Swift does her best work after breakups. I'm pretty sure she just dates guys to get material. Like Kanye might drop a heater.
I think we're more.
He's got to get off the God stuff.
Yeah, I think we're more likely to get a banger Keeping Up with the Kardashians episode.
What about satanic Kanye?
That
would
be sick.
No. We will get a banger teaser for Keeping Up with the Kardashians season.
Yes. That won't tell us anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it'll come at the end of an episode.
That will be an incredible.
But the teaser will be like, holy shit.
The best teaser of all time.
Yes, the season's going to be amazing.
Since CT ate Adam's brains.
I do want a Kanye album where he totally renounces his faith. He questions everything.
Yes.
He call it like I'm off that God tip.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be.
What? Your mic's on.
Speaking of the mic, Billy.
Hold on, your mic's on. Hold on, your mic's on.
You're good.
Okay, go.
It's going to feature.
Wait, your mic's on.
No, you're good.
Say
you're
it.
good.
It's going to feature Mario Judah.
Okay, I understand that reference.
Totally. Your references are so sick. Who is that?
My mic was on. It would have been better.
Well,
Cool Throne, Ricky Williams, for
also,
being high
if we
during the Heisman
knew
presentation.
who you were talking about.
He's a rapper who gets a
yeah,
little
I know.
satanic.
Yeah, I know
Got
that.
it.
I know that.
It's kind of
Duh.
popular.
Dude,
I thought you were talking about the other
Mario Judah.
Yeah.
We were like,
I know-
dude,
I know.
Mario Judah from Atlanta, Georgia, American singer, songwriter, record producer. He began producing music as a teenager. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
He rose to prominence as an internet meme with his single "Die Very Rough."
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we know that guy. What are you talking about? We know him. All right, let's do our hot seat, cool throne. Henry, you're on the mic. What's your beef? That was the old Will Smith. Remember he used to answer the phone like that?
You're on the mic. What's your beef?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was
Fresh
Prince.
Prince?
Fresh Prince would do that.
I think
it was
that
cool.
was Mancow.
Mike Mancow?
Or either that or Sports Babe.
Yeah, Mancow
Remember
might be
Sports
running
Babe?
for. I think Mancow's running for governor
who
of
the f-
Illinois.
His man.
Hank, do you remember Sports Babe?
No.
Sports Babe was the sports talk radio show host, but plot twist, record scratch, she's a babe. Mm-hmm. And you'd call in, and the first thing she'd say, or you'd say to her, would
Is
be,
this a real life thing?
yeah,
or a
oh
show?
yeah, it'd be your height and weight, and you go, hey babe, first time, long time, 6'2", everybody was 6'2", 6'2", 185, and then she'd go, oh yeah. It's great era in sports talk radio.
Yeah.
I'm sure she does.
You sound so wise for your age, PFT. That it seems like something that wasn't around, like,
The
when
Sports Babe?
when you were a kid. Yeah,
Dude.
Maybe when Big Cat was.
I know, yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
it's true. I'm 8 years old.
I spend a lot of time on YouTube watching, stuff that my dad looks at.
My hot seat is the Texans camera crew, or one guy in particular. J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson were
they're
sharing
spying.
a heartfelt moment.
No.
J.J. Watt was apologizing to Deshaun Watson. He said, "I'm sorry we wasted a season for you," and a fucking camera guy caught it.
Caught it?
Yeah.
That
JJ,
is
And
the
worst
thing
leaked the
ever.
You
video.
gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
JJ keeps having this happen
I
to
know.
him.
I can't imagine he's happy about it.
That sucks. He's got to be pretty embarrassed about that because that's something that, between teammates and alphas in the NFL, you got to say that behind closed doors or else everyone's going to know what a great dude you are.
So I'm conflicted on this because we've obviously come a long way with JJ Watt from the Hey JJ days.
He's not the coach?
He is a nice guy, very nice guy. I actually think that was genuine. No,
on, Big Cat.
no. It was set up for the cameras. Like he knew the cameras were there. But I actually think like he genuinely does feel bad of how that Texans defense was that bad. It was corny.
But if he
did
was
it on
authentic,
camera.
he would have been like, our fucking coaching staff is a joke.
No, it was corny. All
That's
that
like-
stuff.
Well, they
it
would have
was,
edited
it was
that
planned.
out. Right.
It was exactly how like he planned it to go viral. All that shit. I'm saying like as just looking at the facts of how bad the Texans defense was, I think apology was in order for Deshaun Watson.
So I'm looking at this the same way that you could look at Britney Spears paparazzi pictures from like the early 2000s when she was really going through it and being a party girl and raging. So yeah, there were times that she knew the paparazzi was going to be there and she'd step out of her limo with her nipple hanging out. But there were also instances where just because she was partying so much, she'd swing the door open and
Right.
they'd happen to catch an upskirt shot of her landing strip.
Right.
And so that's kind of what's happening with JJ, where I'm sure he has said this before, but like. It was framed too perfectly.
Of course it was.
It looked like the
he
Joe
knew-
Burrow video on senior night, the way they were trailing him out with the 4K lens.
JJ knows.
It's probably JJ's personal photographer.
JJ, like if you did a scouting chart of JJ Watt's strengths, like unbelievable motor, power, strength, all this stuff,
Coach's
and then
son.
also incredible 10 out of 10 at always knowing where the camera is. I think
Extreme
he'd
camera
admit that.
awareness,
I
yeah.
think he would admit that. But there was an apology in order for Deshaun Watson.
Oh wow, look at Big Cat now.
No,
I know.
No, their
Wow,
defense
we must
was,
protect
No,
Deshaun Watson at all costs.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's what I heard.
What? How did you get that?
That's
There was an apology in order from their defense.
That's just
their
what I
defense was that bad. I mean, it's tough to win. What they win 4 games. It's tough to have the leading
JJ
passer.
said they should have won 11.
I don't know about that, but to have the leading the quarterback who leads the league in passing and win 4 games, that's tough to do.
It is.
That's very tough to do.
Then my cool throne is Seattle.
Yeah.
There's talks about adding 2 NBA expansion teams, and they're heating up. It's looking like things are trending in the right direction.
I
Not
don't-
both to Seattle.
I don't.
Well, no, but like
One
Las
to,
Vegas.
one to Pittsburgh.
I want the Sonics to very much return.
yes.
I really want it for our dear friend Spencer Hawes. But I also, remember when the U.S. didn't make the World Cup and it was the funniest moment ever? It would be very funny if they added 2 teams and neither were in Seattle.
It would be in a sick, sad way.
Just on a face value, I don't want it to happen. I'm not rooting. I'm rooting for the Sonics to come back. They should be the number one team that gets a franchise if they're adding any teams. Again, though, if they added 2 and they're like, yeah, it's going to be
how about
Daytona Beach and Louisville.
Okay, I was going to say Louisville and Las Vegas, but we call the Las Vegas team the Supersonics.
Yeah, or they'll be like, you know what? We're going to add it to Vegas, but they're going to play 3 preseason games in Seattle.
They treat Seattle like the NFL used to do the America Bowl, where they go over to Japan for one game.
Yeah, or like Buffalo and Toronto. Remember when they did that experiment?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're like, it's basically Seattle.
I just want Seattle to have a basketball team
Absolutely.
so that they can bring back the Sean Kemp Rain Man shoes. Those things are the kamikazes.
I am a little worried, though, for Spencer, because if they do bring back the Sonics, like, does he die? Because I think that's all he...
Ceases,
that's it. That's all
away,
that's the only thing he's looking
Avengers.
for.
Peloton. Yeah.
Washington football and the Sonics. Okay, is that it?
That's my cool throne.
Okay. Thrones?
It's Hot Seat Cool Throne.
Hot Seat Cool Throne. You just did the bare minimum. That's fine. You're a minimum guy.
Well,
yeah, you are a minimum guy.
If it was Hot Seat Cool Thrones, Hot Seats Cool Thrones, I would have multiple.
Hot seat.
However, it is not.
Like Big's Mac. Hot seat World Handball.
Uh-oh.
Handball is on the hot seat. So
be careful.
That's right. Watch out. Don't let the USA get hot. We're returning to the international stage on January 14th. It's the big tournament, whatever they call that. I don't know, the World Series. A bunch of countries are getting together and playing each other in
I think it's
handball.
Just called recess.
It's just a shitload.
The men's World Handball Championship.
Yeah, physical education.
Yeah, it's
what's
in
happening.
between block, period 5 and 6.
Hopefully we can get the presidential award this year. So I looked it up. We're in the group of death. I don't know that, but we're playing against Norway, Austria, and France. It feels like
they're really good.
The handball group
Are
of
they?
death.
Yeah.
So we open it up against Austria. So hot seat Matthew Dellavedova. We're coming at you, buddy. And it's gonna be tough for us because
Austria?
Yeah, Austria.
Okay.
And we're going to be playing on the 14th. And when you look on Google at the schedule, it's got all the countries' flags. And then the U.S. just has the generic gray spot there, which is how you can tell that
we're like the creative player.
We're ready to go
Yeah.
for team handball.
Yes.
So yeah, we are in the group of death. I feel like
my
we
guy
can.
Ty Reed's on the team. We're gonna win.
Ty Reed.
Ty Reed.
You just looked him up?
No, I played handball 2016 with him during quarantine on Xbox. His name is Tyler Reed. He was a wide receiver at Alabama.
Oh. Okay.
He did what Billy said he was going to do.
Got it.
Played football, turned into a
So basically
athlete.
everything we've said is 100% factual.
Yeah, like
he basically
the
confirmed
sixth
it.
best wide receiver at Alabama is now our star player.
The guy who was on special teams for 5 years at Alabama is the best player in the world.
I don't know if I just know he's on the team.
No, Ty Reed is the best.
No, he's the best.
He is
Everyone
the best
knows
player
that.
in the world.
I've got my Reed jersey hanging up in the closet.
I love that we still like the fact that we had that was right around this time last year with Jay Cutler, but that we got a handball like one of the best in the world, and he was a fucking accountant. Mm-hmm. That guy was cool, but he was an accountant.
You know what else I like about this whole conversation is that like the international handball community is probably the most active online community in the world. So you know that they've got a lot of time on their hands to just like name search. A real elite sport would not have that amount of time.
And the best part is they don't even realize that like they're like, back it up. Like, dude, no thank you.
No.
Like
this is
do
we
you
talk
understand
about
what we
it.
do now?
Yeah, we
Billy's literally fighting Jose Canseco for me. I do not back it
we
up.
start fights, okay?
Yeah.
We don't finish
I
them.
just talk shit.
Yeah. My other hot seat is tradition. The NHL has spat in the face of traditions. They're renaming their divisions, and they're giving them corporate slogans or corporate sponsors.
No.
So it's the Honda division, the Scotia division. Guess which one that is?
Wait, that's not actually real.
Yeah. Discover and Mass Mutual division.
Wait, the NHL.
NHL.
You said the NFL.
But I switched it to NHL.
Okay.
I said an NHL, excuse me.
Okay.
So yeah, the NBA would never do something like this.
Nope.
And sell out to corporations and put logos on their official uniforms. But the NHL is doing it. Bad look for the kids.
Well, they're trying to make some money up.
Yep.
They're trying to make some money up. They got the logos on the helmets.
Some of us care about tradition, Big Cat.
Just get to, keep the league alive.
Every uniform should look like Notre Dame and Michigan from 1910.
Yes.
My cool throne.
You had 2 hot seats.
Yeah.
I see that?
I did double time.
Not a minimum guy.
Yeah. My cool throne is Swag Kelly. So no offense, no
you
disrespect
stole
to CJ Beathard, but Swag is
shit.
back. Like a prodigal son returning to a party with an assault rifle, Swag Kelly has returned to the land of his birth. I actually don't know. Is he from Buffalo? I know his family is, obviously, so he's the nephew of Jim Kelly. But he's back in the land of his ancestors, and it's classic Belichick what the Bills are doing. Because guess who Swag was most recently playing for? The Colts.
Yep.
He's got their playbook.
He does.
I like to think that Swag had his own.
He definitely doesn't.
Well, my hypothesis is that they had 3 separate playbooks.
I was gonna say
They had the Phillip Rivers playbook. They had the Jacoby Brissett playbook, which is just sneaking the ball, and then they've got Swag Kelly, which is when you need to take like an intentional safety but make it look unintentional, or have like somebody assault a referee or cameraman.
I was thinking about it. I was like, wait, he not only doesn't have a playbook physically, but because they probably took it from him, but he also definitely hasn't retained any of the information.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he had his one specific. It's like, Swag, we're going to send you out there.
Yeah.
Please get us a 15-yard misconduct penalty.
Billy,
Or
are you gonna stand for this, Billy?
maybe he's Mr. Ursay's banana boat guy.
Billy, are you gonna stand for this?
I don't have to say anything.
What you?
Swag is silent.
What draft was it that he was the best? The best quarterback from this draft is Swag Kelly. What was it, like 2017 or something?
Yeah.
You said that.
I said that. It was like that summer, I guess.
No, you said
Yeah.
most talented.
Most
Which I
talented.
still agree with.
You can say that and never be
it's
wrong.
impossible.
There's a
to
lot
disprove.
of talented guys who just go off the reservation.
Yeah, like me.
Exactly.
I could have had it all. Could have been contender.
All right, my hot seat is Alabama and Ohio State. They're playing in the national championship on Monday, but they aren't the national champions. So the New York Times, noted football publication, had an article that said the college football champion not in the title game. And this guy has deemed that the University of Connecticut, because they were the first football subdivision team to squarely face the coronavirus and decide against playing a single snap during a raging pandemic, should be our 2020-21 national champions.
They're the real champions. I'm actually in favor of that, just to watch how badly that pisses off Randy Edsall.
Holy shit. No, dude, are you kidding me? Randy Edsall definitely has a ton of clauses that gets him so many bonuses for this.
Really,
Like he probably
after the fact?
has a clause like if the New York Times deems us national champion. Randy Edsall's the king of clauses.
So I love this take because it reminds us that the Tennessee Titans should actually not be in the NFL playoffs because they did not take Corona seriously. I love it when sports writers just like arbitrarily.
I don't think he's a sports writer.
He's not?
I don't know. I unfortunately can't read the article because I don't have a subscription to the New York Times. But I saw the
can
headline.
pirate it, yeah.
And someone else transcribed the paragraph. But yeah, it's.
I'm in favor
That's a take.
I'm in favor of awarding meritless national championships just as a ground rule.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Oh, this is my cool throne. Maybe.
No, it works perfectly with the hot seat. Brett McMurphy just tweeted this 31 seconds ago.
Uh-oh.
Because of COVID issues at Ohio State, there has been discussions
Yes,
about postponing the college football playoff title
Fuck.
game.
Stay woke. The NFL is going to postpone the Browns game to Monday, and then they're going to postpone the national championship game to the following Saturday.
Shit. No, the
Is there
following
no
Saturday
football
has
game?
football.
Yeah.
You always get.
I can't look at-
You always get the NFL playoff schedule.
I
confused.
can't look ahead longer than 1 week. I'm taking
They've
it
been
one
doing
week at
the
a time.
same
I'm
schedule.
a football guy, big
They've been
cat.
doing the
6 and
same
6?
schedule for our entire life.
Except this year it's different.
Is there
No,
six?
but the second weekend is completely the same.
They've got a game on fucking Nickelodeon this weekend that's never happened before.
There's 6 games this weekend.
We're in the future.
Next weekend is Saturday 2 games, Sunday 2 games, as always, and then the championship Sunday is always 2 games on Sunday.
Okay, so then the national championship game would be delayed until the following Monday.
Yes.
Which, for the record, I'm absolutely in favor of that.
Yeah,
Let's have as much football as we can for as long
keep the
as
dream
possible.
alive, and also stay woke. They have COVID issues. Does it happen to be somewhere around Justin Fields' ribs? I am the preeminent rib truther online.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm going to throw a flag right now. I would say an extra week would help those bruised ribs.
so I would say, in terms of a punctured lung, calling it a rib issue, if the rib punctured the lung, the
COVID
lung,
related.
But maybe he doesn't have COVID. Maybe he's just at a higher susceptibility to get it.
Yes.
Because he's got like a tracheotomy tube going into his lung. That would be COVID related, wouldn't it?
I'm just saying.
I feel like it would.
It's so stupid how the NCAA and because I don't even think the NCAA, it's just the conferences now, Like I saw this before the college football semifinal. The day before, Clemson was done with testing, but Ohio State still had to test the morning of the game. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so stupid how all of this is going.
It is very weird.
And we talked about the Browns at the beginning of the show. It's all crazy.
Do you feel like Ohio State gets helmet stickers for every time they put on a mask in a meeting or every time they pass a test?
Yes,
they hand those things out like candy now.
I'm just saying, those ribs might be feeling a lot better a week later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing it out there. That's just science. All right, my cool throne is Tua. He's been announced starter for 2021, which I didn't know they announced starters right now.
That's always a great sign when your front office is like, this guy's going to be. I don't know who's going to be alive in 2 weeks. So like thinking all the way to September, there's a lot that can happen there. And as Booger says, we're in a microwave society.
Yes,
in a microwave society right now. We want everything fast. We want everything now. So
good for the
Tua.
Dolphins. Good for Tua. Again, it was a lot less about Tua and more about the fact they have the 3rd pick overall. But hey, if they want to go with Tua, that's fine.
But you know what? Saying that, like, he is right now our starter on our roster. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love because you leave yourself open to literally doing anything in the offseason.
And also, just a heads up as Dolphins fans, so I'm wearing all Dolphins gear. Shout out the guy who sent me a XXL Dolphins jumpsuit. It's, like tired, wired. Tired. Mm-hmm. Being haunted by 2 quarterbacks, Wired being haunted by like 3 or 4 because they're already haunted by Justin Herbert. Well, I'm haunted by Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, but they're haunted by Justin Herbert. Who's to say they don't draft a quarterback this year and like Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, all these guys turn out to be Hall of Famers.
Oh my God. Then they just have like 3 years of Roger Goodell chasing after. Man, I'll tell you what. You know what they say. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have 1.
Ooh. Actually, no, 2.8 balls.
That's pretty
boobs.
good.
2.8 boobs. 2.8 boobs. 2.8 boobs is very good.
I'm actually shocked I haven't said that like every single week.
2.8. Well, I think Frank the Tank has been around enough that he's probably said it.
Yeah, probably.
All right, my other cool throne, not minimum guys. Not on this side of the room. We're not minimum guys. Billy and Hank are minimum guys. Flight Tracker. Flight Tracker's all the way back. Urban Meyer.
Love it.
Going to Jacksonville. Also, Shad Khan. Wow, what a like galaxy brain move to be like, we're trying to hire the best new head coach, but just so we're clear, I'm the one who's still in charge of the roster. Me, Shad Khan, super crazy rich guy who doesn't know anything about football.
I'm okay with that because at least he's saying it. Every
true.
other owner will be like, no,
you know,
I let my football guys do the football work, and I just sit here and I write the checks and watch the games. And I think probably the successful franchises out there actually have that, but those aren't the ones that are ever looking for head coaches.
Right.
So now you've got a situation where every opening is going to be an owner who publicly says, I'm going to let you do your thing.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you're drafting a quarterback in the first round because he played beer pong with your son in high school.
Right.
And then that becomes an issue for you.
The devil you know.
The devil you know is fine. And also, I'm glad you brought up Flight Tracker because big shout out to all the people on the message boards out there. Tiger Droppings is huge on it. I know that Hogville has certainly made its name in terms of tracking these flights coast to coast, finding the coaches. I've got like 5 different FlightAware guys in my DMs that always pop up this time, and I love all of you guys for doing God's work. We love if these guys were in charge of NORAD on September 11th, we would never have gone through anything bad.
Yep.
So great job. Keep doing what you're doing. You're real American heroes and patriots.
All right, minimum guy.
I don't know what that means. What is that?
You're going to do your 1 hot seat and 1 cool throne.
I have like 5.
Oh.
Here we go. Hot seat, Pirate streamers. Dana White says he has a special surprise for anyone who pirates his UFC.
Fuck yes, Dana.
Yeah, so
a sweet graphic
like
t-shirt.
This.
I
like this.
Like he's like threatening people to pirate his stream. So
I like
that's
this.
cool. My other hot seat is Doug Peterson.
Conor McGregor's fighting soon, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
He promised on the show, right?
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Robbie Fox is going.
Wait, what do you think Dana White's going to do? What's his special surprise?
He's probably going to show up. He's going to, like, if you are sitting there pirating, all of a sudden your doorbell rings and you just get punched in the face.
I think
Robbie Fox is like going on the UFC charter with Dana to Fight Island.
Fuck yeah.
I was thinking about what you could do to combat pirating. I bet he's gonna like send out a bunch of troll links
Hire Tom Hanks.
on like Reddit.
Oh, so here's what he might do.
Yeah.
He might send out troll links that are all infected with viruses.
Mm-hmm.
So he makes people scared. It's like a landmine when you're trying to click on a periscope.
Which he doesn't realize that already exists. every time you click on one of these links, there's a 50-50 chance you get your computer fucked.
But this time it
100% chance.
maybe Rick rolls you.
Oh.
Or something. That's what I'm thinking.
Meat spin.
That'd be a good idea. Or it just goes to a live stream of Dana White.
That's a joke that only us, PFT's 27, but
Yeah.
us over 30 get.
What's Meat Spin? Send it to me, Big Cat. Hey, Big Cat.
Hey, go to meatspin.com.
Big Cat, have you looked up Bofa?
Oh, man. Oh, dude, don't get me. I got that. Someone got me last night.
They got you pretty good.
My other hot seat is Jeb Bush's tiny arms.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting the vaccine. His arms are frail as fuck.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting into my backups.
Yep.
Because-
Keep going.
My other hot seat
Flush
is
the system.
Jose Canseco. I'm going to beat his
Wow,
ass.
Jeb
Yeah,
Bush
you're gonna
follows
beat
me
his
on
ass.
Twitter.
My other hot seat. Those are all my hot seats.
Okay.
That is a very small arm on Jeb Bush.
Cool
I
Thrones?
gotta say,
He has a super big right arm.
yeah,
too,
well,
so it's hilarious.
he's a right winger.
Yeah.
Damn,
Oh,
Billy.
sorry, Billy.
You almost had
He's
that.
actually not even that big of a right winger anymore.
Was that photoshopped? It looks photoshopped.
It does. I'm gonna DM Jeb Bush real quick and ask him if that was photoshopped.
All
Stand
right,
by.
Billy, what do you got? Cool throws.
And my last cool throne is another hot seat is The Weeknd because he got really weird plastic surgery. That it may be fake though. It's kind of creepy. Anyway,
All right, let's get to our interviews.
I forgot about this, but I've got
You tried to get him on the show.
no, but I never DM'd him.
Oh.
It looks like I've DM'd him several times in the past, just trying to get him to join my fantasy football league.
Oh, that was right. Yeah. What were you
Okay.
gonna say? What were you gonna say, Hank? What are you gonna say, Hank?
You're not serious about The Weeknd, right?
did you see?
It's a music video.
Well, he got the bandages on.
for the that is the music
But
video.
remember, he went to the he went to the award
Guys,
show with
bad
the
news.
bandages
Michael
on.
Jackson is actually a zombie.
Oh God, Billy.
This is bad, Billy.
No,
Oh my God.
no, but he was wearing the
Billy.
bandages before.
Billy.
Did I get tricked by Hollywood?
Oh
You got tricked by a
Billy.
costume.
Billy.
No, I didn't get tricked by a
The
costume.
fun
Yeah,
fact
you
about
got costume
you got,
trick.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the lowest
Tricked
form of
by a
trick.
costume.
If
Watch
you leave
The
a-
Weeknd play a plastic surgery disaster in his bizarre Save Your Tears video.
Bro, I just saw it. The Weeknd got terrible plastic surgery.
Did you hear the guy from Jamiroquai invented a way to defy gravity?
What was the OK Go? Was that the name of it?
Yeah, they're the ones that do all the the Rube Goldberg machines.
And they also they get on the treadmills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Treadmill accident.
If you leave a cucumber on the ground next to Billy Football, he'll panic and flip out about it.
Cool turn, Chad Kelly.
Okay. All right, let's get to our interviews. We have first up, no longer retired, and you'll find out why. Matt Schaub, legend of the game, 17-year NFL career. We talk about everything with him. And we're brought to you by our friends at MeUndies. MeUndies are back in 2021. We're all wearing our MeUndies right now. That is absolutely true. I have a drawer full of MeUndies because they are the softest, best underwear out there. They're not only soft, but they look good. You feel good, play good, pay good. MeUndies has the best subscription service out there. They send new pairs right to your door with site-wide savings and exclusive sales. You'll automatically pay less for everything. MeUndies has a great offer for all of our listeners. For any time, first-time purchaser, you get 15% off and free shipping. 15% off and free shipping. MeUndies also has their problem-free philosophy. If you're not satisfied with any product for any reason, they'll refund or exchange it. No caveats, no questions. Go get your 15% off your first order and free shipping to MeUndies.com/take. That's MeUndies.com/take. We cannot say enough about MeUndies. It is really the best. I have not worn a different pair of underwear in 4 years.
Well, you've changed them.
No, I have not worn.
Same pair.
No, what I said was correct. I have not worn. That's how good MeUndies are.
You just
I
turn them
have
inside
not
out
worn
once a week.
a different pair of underwears in 4 years. MeUndies.com/take. 15% off, free shipping. MeUndies.com/take. You will not be disappointed. Okay, here he is, Matt Schaub. Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest. Recently retired, a fantastic 17-year career in the NFL. It is Matt Schaub. Matt, thank you for joining us. Can we first start with, are you actually retired? Because I read a tweet yesterday that said, after our show today, Matt Schaub found out he is retiring from the Falcons. You found out you were retiring, or you retired?
Well, No, it was something that I knew was going to happen. My contract's up. So, if this is it for me, unless a super enticing offer comes down the pipe and, whatever, you never want to say never. But as far as me and my career and where my family's at, man, I couldn't be more happy and content and satisfied with my journey in the NFL playing quarterback. And if this is the end of the road, I wanted to just let it be known that I'm going to go out on my terms and call it a career.
You're not retired. Breaking news, Matt Schaub is not retired. I love that we had you on. We got that figured out. Actually, you know what? That's the interview. We'll talk to you when you retire, dude.
Well, the paperwork hasn't been filed yet. So until that happens, you're not done.
Okay. Right. So yeah, the phone is going to ring for you. Like there's going to be room in the NFL for Matt Schaub for the next 20 years. I'm convinced of it. And it's funny because you were that same draft class as Ben Roethlisberger and Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
I feel like we need to talk about Matt Schaub as being part of that elite draft class because, those guys have, they've started for the same team for, upwards of 16 years. But, like, having this long of a career in the NFL as a quarterback is extremely tough to do. And we talk about it a lot on the show, how there are guys who can become backups who are still sometimes, one of the top 30 top 40 quarterbacks in the entire world that can turn that into like a long career. And I'm always curious to know, like, you played both sides of it. You were a great starter for a long time, and then you were a great backup quarterback. Did you have to like change anything about the way you prepared? Like, did you have to start driving a less swaggy car so you wouldn't be able to like upstage the starting guy? Like, what's the difference in skill set there?
Well, I think the one thing that you have to adjust is when you're the starter, you're getting all the reps. You're out of practice. You're the guy. You're in the huddle. You're getting all the physical reps to get ready to play. But when you're the backup, and I started my career out here in Atlanta as the backup to Michael Vick. So that's how I developed in this league. And then I got my opportunity in Houston to be the starter. But then going back to the backup role, you just have to do everything mentally. You have to envision everything. And then when you're doing the scout offense and giving the defense the looks for Sunday, you have to put yourself in the game. So it's just a little bit different mindset, but you try to prepare mentally much the same as if you're the starter, but you're just not getting the physical reps. And that's the big thing. But as far as driving a less swaggy car, I mean, I just drive, Matt Ryan's the quarterback and he's been here. He's got the like coolest Mercedes out there. So there was no endangerment of me like driving a nicer car than him. So that was off the table.
So, but in terms of like personality, because I would assume when you do become the backup, there is a little bit more of like, you're a team player, you know, like you said, the reps, you don't get all the reps. You're probably having to do some scout work for the quarterback's room, for the offensive coordinator. Is there something that that you knew about your personality? Like, hey, I can last here because I'm a team guy and I enjoy just being around everyone, whether I'm playing or not.
One thing that I embraced coming here because I had a prior relationship and knew Matt Ryan for a lot of years, and he's an established veteran, elite quarterback in this league. For me, it was to be an extra set of eyes to validate some of the things we're doing game planning wise with our reads, with some of our hots, or what we're going to do versus zero pressure versus a certain defense or look, and just be a sounding board because I've been in his shoes. A lot of guys as a backup haven't been in a starting role, so it's hard for the starter to trust what they're trying to tell him, and so to have that rapport and that respect between us was paramount and was great for the last 5 years. And one of the roles that I took on was in a mentorship role for a lot of young guys. The starter has to get himself and the guys in his huddle ready. Well, I deal a lot with the young players, young offensive linemen, young receivers, young running backs, and be a mentor to them to help them develop into professionals and how they need to handle themselves week in, week out on the practice field, how they can develop into better players. I took a lot of that onus on myself as a guy who's been around long enough to know and seen how it can be done well and how it can be done wrong sometimes, and just give those guys some advice.
I like that answer because I think we obviously have fun at the expense of some backup quarterbacks, but I do think people don't realize what it takes to be a backup quarterback, and you can't just say, oh, this guy was a starter for 10 years, he's going to be a great backup. Like, there's a certain personality trait, being a good teammate, that not everyone is built for being a good backup. And good backups matter. They really do.
They do. I mean, first and foremost, your job is to be ready to go in and play and be able to execute the offense. And if something happens to the starter, you have to be able to go in there and be trusted to win games. And if you can do that, that's paramount first and foremost. And then from there, everything else is icing on the cake, but you have to be able to take on a certain role. And some guys aren't made for it. And some guys that were a starter and don't want to go back to being a backup or go to being a backup because, they've only known one thing and they're not built to do that. And so that can be tough. But if you have the right mindset and you put, yourself in the backseat and, realize there's other things that you can bring to the table for the football team, you can last a long time.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money too if you do it. There should be, what we should do? Here's an idea. For when the day comes when you do decide to hang the cleats up, Matt, you should start an Elite 11 quarterback camp, but for backups, for future backups. So, just train them in all those skill sets that Trent Dilfer's out here flying kids out on his private jet, teaching them how to work out and do all these, all these Elite 11 drills. Have you do like a tandem camp where you kind of prepare them for the back of the office type stuff?
Well, if that's the case, then my group of quarterbacks would unseat the guys in the on the private planes. Mine that are riding the bus or the the Sprinter vans to go to camp. We'll unseat those guys on the private jet at his camp.
That's right. Then you become the Elite 11 guy.
Yeah. Yes.
This is all like a long. It's a project for you. But one thing that you said kind of struck me about how you would prepare as you'd give the defense a look as a scout team quarterback for whoever they're going to play against. Being on the Falcons, what was it like when they were like, "Hey, Matt, can you emulate Cam Newton for the next week?"
Yeah, sometimes that can get a little tricky when you have a guy like that. You try to first for the defensive line, they like the cadence to sound the same as the other quarterbacks and how they say it so they can time up some of the things they're going to hear or what's going to be said at the line of scrimmage. So Cam has a unique cadence if you've ever heard it on TV or through the TV copies. And so trying to emulate that was one thing, but then just running around and all that, you do the best you can. But obviously my fleet of foot is not the same as his, or when we would play Russell Wilson and Seattle, it was a little bit different. So, but you do the best you can. You just give the guys looks on escaping out of the pocket and them having to work on their scramble rules and things like that. And the defensive line's great because they can't touch us anyway. So if something's not there, you just find an alley and you get out of there. But obviously the quicks and the agility isn't quite the same, but that's how each of us are built differently.
Can you give us a sample of Cam Newton?
Oh man, it didn't even, how most of them are color number, red 80, set hut.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded like, this is what we used to say in our room. And then, Cam, if you're listening, you probably laugh at this, but man, it was like he was ordering sushi. It was like, it was crazy. It was like, sashimi, zip it, or like, nigis. It was wild. And so it's just say something that makes no sense really long. And it's like, set up, but it all sounds like one jumbled up mess.
Yeah. All right. So we talk about you being a backup, but you were also a really good starter, and we have to give you credit for that. You played in the playoffs in that 2012 season for the Texans. Did you know right away when you got in the playoffs that you were going to be playing at that 4:00 ESPN game against the Bengals? Like, that's when you think about that early Saturday game, wild card weekend, it's the Texans and the Bengals.
Yeah. And, we had that same situation the year before. We had to play them. And so we were familiar with it. And when you find out you're that first game, man, because it turns around pretty quick from your week 17 game to that Saturday afternoon. So it's great. You can just get ready and you can go play. And then when you win it, man, it's great. You can sit back for the next day and a half and just watch the other teams battle that out. And it gives you an extra day rest usually for the next week, the divisional round games. So when we found out that we were playing them, we had played them a few times the couple years leading up to that. And to have it at home was great. And for me, I missed the playoffs the year before when I hurt my foot and in 2011. So to be back out there with my team and get a chance in the playoffs, man, it was such a cool deal and a cool time.
Who ranked these guys? Case Keenum, TJ Yates of hell, and then did you play with Tom Savage? Was he in that room too?
No, Tom came the year after I left in 2014.
All right, then throw in Matt Leinart because I think he was on that team too for a little stretch with you.
Yeah, so not in 2012, but in 2011, it was all four of us. It was me and Matt Leinart and TJ and Case. And when I got hurt, then Matt Leinart played against Jacksonville next week, but he got hurt in the first half. So both of us got hurt with back-to-back weeks. And then TJ was a rookie out of North Carolina, and he went in and played, the rest of the season, the last 4 or 5 games, and then in the playoffs. And he learned a ton. He really listened, and we had between Gary Kubiak, Greg Knapp, our quarterback coach, and me and Matt still being in the room, we tried to just be as much a sounding board and giving him advice and mentoring him as we could. But Matt was great. And TJ, as a young player, really did a lot for us and managed the football team. And then when Case came in, obviously what he did at Houston and in college, speaks for itself with how he threw the football. So he was great to have in the room as well.
Yeah.
Rank all the Matts that you've played with at the quarterback position, because you are. I feel like we're losing out on the era of the Matt quarterback, and they're kind of transitioning into being head coaches now.
Well, look at this. Like when I got to back here at Atlanta in 2016, our quarterback room was Matt Ryan, myself, Matt Sims was our third quarterback, and our quarterback coach was Matt LaFleur. And we also had on our roster Matt Bosher as our punter, Matt Bryant as our kicker. I mean, every single digit player on our roster was Matt, and then our quarterback coach was Matt LaFleur. It was like everyone had to have a nickname and have their own thing, but you always knew if someone said Matt, don't look because they're talking to Matt Ryan. So you knew not to listen to that. But between all those guys and that disaster of Matts that we had on our roster in 60, and I also had Matt Leinart. And I think that might be it, like as far as the ones I play with, unless you guys did your homework and know somebody. It's been such a long career that I can't remember any other Matts.
Yeah, it is crazy. 17 years is like, I know we said it at the top, but that's an insane career, and you're not even done. You still have a few years left, as we said.
He was retired yesterday. Yeah. That's the shortest retirement, I think, in the history of the NFL. Maybe Brett Favre has you beat on one of those, but that's pretty good.
Well, the crazy thing about it is going back to 2004, how much the game has changed, and really the world, social media, like just how everything society has changed in the last 17 years, and not to mention just on the football field between the white lines. It's bizarre to think how far things have come and where the game's gone to.
It's true. The offense, like you basically watched the evolution of the modern game, like completely change in these last 17 years.
Absolutely. I mean, the evolution of, the RPO system that colleges are now, bringing and NFL teams are bringing to the field in the NFL game. It's a whole different ballgame, and it allows a lot of young players to play and have a lot of success early in their careers because they just have to read one guy and they either hand it off or you just throw a little slant or something behind it. So, the game has just changed so much, and then just no huddles and defenses, the evolution of some of the zone pressures you see. I mean, it's bizarre how it's changed and how much more complex it's got.
I think one thing I at least had forgotten about your career is that you were named the Pro Bowl MVP. At one point. So that's huge. That was the year when people were like, why is Matt Schaub going to the pro? It wasn't your best year, but I guess a couple guys had dropped out and you gone. Did you participate in that skills challenge that they had?
So when I was going, they didn't have that. They had done away with it for a number of years, and then they brought it back here in the last, 4 or 5 years, I guess, for TV and to generate a little bit more excitement, because you know how the game has gone. Sometimes it's kind of like watching practice or two-hand touch for like 3 quarters until you get to the fourth quarter, and then guys realize, okay, I'm trying to play for that money. And, you get a big bonus if you win the game versus you lose the game. So they, I guess, just trying to develop some of that excitement. So they didn't have it when I was going to the Pro Bowl. In fact, the first one I went to was down in South Florida. It was the first year that they didn't go to Hawaii back in right before the lockout happened in 2010. So it was the 2009 season. Which was my best year, and got voted in. And then like you said, the second time I went, I did get in because someone dropped out, but we had a really good run game that year, so we didn't have to pass the ball as much. Arian Foster was rolling, and so we had a very balanced attack in Houston that year. Yeah,
I mean, you in 2000. So we need to do this. We'll do some like Matt Schaub PR releases for you, but from 2005 to 2018. The only guy not named Drew Brees, Phil Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, or Tom Brady to win the passing title was Matt Schaub. I mean, you might be a Hall of Famer. Now that I just put that out there, right?
Well, I mean, if you look at the fact that he threw for 527 yards in one game, which is the second most all time, that still boggles my mind, by the way.
Yeah.
That the record is, I think it's 554, but it was in 1951. Like, no one's broken that. You talk about the game changing, like, was there?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Was the 1951 record?
They didn't have a clock.
I don't feel like yards were the same distance back then. It was just like some guy with a peg leg
bullshit.
Stepping off feet as best as he could.
Wait, but I'm looking at this, Matt. Like, would you say Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer, Matt?
100%.
Okay, what about Phil Rivers?
Yeah, I think he's got a chance. Yeah, especially what he might do this year in the playoffs. We'll see.
Okay, what about Ben Roethlisberger?
Yes.
Okay, what about Peyton Manning?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, what about Tom Brady?
You know it.
Okay, what about the other guy who led the league in passing from 2005 to 2018, Matt Schaub? See, we just did that for you.
Well, just the fact that I'm on here with you guys and you're saying this, man, you're really my ego. I might just go out and sign and play for 10 more years. I don't know. You guys are really doing me some good right now, but no, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't start long enough. I didn't have enough of that success like those other guys, but that's how it happens sometimes.
Yeah, let us now. We built you up. Let us tear you down. Let's talk about the pick six record. Let's talk about the pick six. That's also Hall of Fame worthy on its own right. When you got to what was it? How many games in a row?
4.
When you got to the 4th, where you're like, "Fuck, I don't want to play anymore."
When I look back at that year in 2013, I go through each one of those throws as they happened, because there were a lot of good throws around those 4 mistakes, but obviously those were enhanced and those were, scrutinized, and they were big plays. And, I put my team in a very bad position, but yeah, I mean, there were moments like, man, I'm done. Like, this is terrible. But at the same time, you had to reflect on some of the good with those bad plays, and there were a lot of good. And obviously the team decided to move on after that year without me, and so I had to refocus my career and what I wanted to do. But man, those were some tough times. But hey, even negative records have some positive twist to them. You're known for something. You had something happen to you, and it's just like negative publicity is good publicity because people are talking about you.
Yeah,
they say you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. So at the end of that season, you were a genius.
Well, that's one way to look at it, for sure.
No, but it was interesting because when it was happening, when I was watching it, my mindset is, if I were him, I would probably fake an injury. But that's because I'm a loser and I'll never be able to be an NFL quarterback. Mm-hmm. That's the mindset of an idiot like me. With you, were you like using it as motivation? Were you like ever down to a dark place where you were, considering like maybe I shouldn't be a starting quarterback ever again?
No, when I was going through it, I never thought about that because I knew I could still play and I knew I could still be a starter. It's about an opportunity, and I let one opportunity slip there in Houston after 7 years. But, just to be able to get another one, that's what I was redirecting my mindset, my focus to, because I knew what I could bring to a team and what I could do on the football field. But that was a tough time. But when I look at it, the first one, when it happened, we won the game still. We came back and beat Tennessee at home in week 2. Then we had Seattle in week 3. We had them on the ropes. We had the ball with the lead when that one happened, when Richard Sherman, intercepted it, which, was a big mistake on 3rd down, should have thrown it away. But then the other 2, they happened in losses at Baltimore and then at San Francisco. So, but when you have one and you win, sometimes it can kind of get masked over. You kind of hide some of your mistakes when you win. So, but when they happen and you lose, or you lose by a score or something, like that, and that's a crucial play in the game, especially late in the football game. I mean, obviously it gets magnified even more.
All right, so let me spin it back to a positive. I got 2 for you. One is I think the way our brains work, every 5 years I just added an extra one. So if you had asked me what Matt Schaub's pick 6 record was, I would have said 6 games. So we've reset it to 4. I know, I'm sorry. That's just by 2040, I would have been like, yeah, Matt Schaub once threw a pick 6 in 16 straight games. It was crazy.
In fact, I actually
it would be a record forever.
Yeah.
I actually think I did say last night, we were taping another show. I think I did say that it was 6 games.
Yeah.
For you.
So
your name came up in a trivia question.
We've reset.
Yeah, so it's 4.
We've reset, and then here's the other spin zone, who we're a fan of this guy as well, but you got a promising young quarterback in Jameis Winston, who, if he gets another shot, we could erase that record of 4.
We could. And let me just tell you this. Early in this season, let's go back a little bit. Tom Brady obviously is going to Tampa Bay. He had a couple rough weeks to start the season.
Yep.
Do you know it? Because last year, his last throw in New England against Tennessee was a pick 6 to Logan Ryan, correct?
Yeah, that's what I remember this year in New England.
He started this year with a pick 6 in week 1 and week 2. So if you look at the records, yes, I had 4 straight games. We got to week 2. Tom Brady was 3 straight games with a pick 6. So I was sitting there week 3. I was like, Tom, please throw another one so you can get tied with me. It would have been great to just be right there with Tom with that record.
You would have been a Hall of Famer. Yeah, because it would have been another conversation with Tom Brady.
It would have been great to be right there, have those names neck and neck. But unfortunately, he didn't have one in week 3, so he was stuck at 3 games in a row. But was almost there, tied with him with that one.
Yeah.
One other really memorable time from your stint in Houston was the Andre Johnson fight when he just beat the hell out of Cortland Finnegan.
Yes.
How many times did you guys watch that in the film room afterwards?
I think that's all we watched. We didn't even watch the game film after that game because we won like 20-0. We handled them pretty good, and we just watched that on loop for like an hour. and I think we spliced here because that was a long time coming. That was probably 2 or 3 years, boiling. And it came to a head that game. And they were playing like their third string quarterback. We handled them defensively. We ran the football. We did whatever we want offensively. And it just got to that point where Cortland was talking to our sideline, and then Andre had just had enough. And it takes a lot to rattle Andre Johnson, but you could tell in the huddle, like he was telling the official when we were getting in the huddle before that play, because it had been going a couple plays before that. And he looked at me and goes, something's about to happen. And I remember we ran a run play away from it. And so I hand it off and I'm carrying out my keep fake, my boot fake away from it. And I just turn and I see Dre just has him locked up, rips his helmet off, and just gives him I was standing there just going like this, just giving him an ovation.
Yeah. Yes. That was,
and everyone loved it, but it had been years and amazing texts from all different guys across the league that we knew and just being like, thank you, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little fine, but I think that got taken care of by like guys all over the league.
That's amazing.
Receivers all over the league for that.
That's amazing. What about, we have to bring up, you lost a piece of your ear. You lost a piece of your ear in a football game. How has it grown back? Well, how does that work?
Yeah, so I saw last night on Twitter, you put the picture of me at the podium against Denver, after that game when my ear got mangled and you could see it was disgusting and like it was bad. But what happened was when I didn't lose part of my ear, when I got hit by Joe Mays in that game and my helmet went flying, the little speaker for the coach to quarterback communication system sits right behind your ear. And when my helmet flew off, the plastic edge of it just sliced my ear. And, it was bleeding pretty good. And they just put like whatever clotting agent or that stuff to stop the bleeding all over it. And so it like adheres and sticks and doesn't wash off or nothing. So that's why it looked so bad when I got done the press conference and got out of the game. But I didn't lose a pizza wedge of a little triangle of my ear. It just sliced pretty good. And I think it was made more of a big deal than it really was.
I'm looking at a picture of it right now, Matt.
Matt, no, we're gonna help you here, dude, because you're now, if you are actually retired and you're in the media world and you're, the legend of Matt Schaub has to grow. You lost your entire ear.
Let's see your ear right now. Let's see that left ear.
It's an artificial ear. You're right. It is. It's fake. It's not mine.
Prosthetic.
That's all it is. Yeah, you're right.
Or maybe you lost part of your ear and it grew back really fast.
Yeah. You gotta let that. You gotta let, like my tweet, like it does look when I say, "Oh yeah," and Matt Schaub's the toughest guy ever because he lost part of his ear. You just gotta let that just go.
What you should have tied to it is the play because it looks really bad when the helmet goes flying and everything like that. It looked really bad. And the funny thing about it is Joe Mays, the linebacker for Denver that hit me, he was on our team in Houston the next year.
And he was
my teammate the following year.
Like, sorry about
he's
the
like,
ear.
ear technology is incredible. You have a full ear again.
So he's like, finally I can sleep. I've been thinking this whole year that you were never going to hear it again.
and he's the nicest guy. So the day he signs, I'm in eating lunch with Dwayne Brown, who was our left tackle at the time. Big dude, awesome guy. And our player development guy comes up and goes, "Hey, we signed a player. Can you guys come over and meet him?" And as soon as I walk over to the table and I see Joe there, Joe just puts his head down. It's just like, "Man, are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I brought Dwayne over here because we got something we got to talk about."
Yes.
But, it was water under the bridge at that point. But man, it was funny to have him be on the team after what happened the year before.
All right, put that on the PR list. Matt Schaub for Hall of Fame, the greatest one-ear quarterback of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a fact.
I'm looking at the YouTube comments actually underneath the video of you getting your ear taken off by Joe Mays. One guy says, this is FGC Fubles. He says, "I looked up this hit when I saw Joe Mays was on the Texans. Mays owes Schaub a steak dinner for this hit. Did he ever buy you a steak dinner?"
I never got the steak dinner. No, I never got a meal from Joe on that one, but that's okay. Didn't need it.
Okay, WWK Frosty said, "Yeah, I lost a piece of my ear too, but I was fine," in all caps. So he's tougher than you. And then
okay.
Then
all right.
Then Silly Goose says, "I was shocked when I looked this up in December of 2020 that Schaub is still in the NFL." So just making news all over the place to the YouTube commenters.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right. So I want to bring up one more thing. Now, for people who are listening, they're going to be like, hey, why didn't you bring up Dan Quinn kicking a field goal in San Francisco in 2015? You weren't on the Falcons yet in that year, but you were on the year the next year, going to the Super Bowl. What, after the Super Bowl, we've had Matt Ryan on the show. Great interview. Great guy. I would imagine, like, obviously, for him, it's devastating. For you, it's devastating, but it's probably a little less devastating. Do you just, like, mimic his emotions and, like, you know, like, man, that really sucked? Like, what's the first thing you say to Matt Ryan after that game?
At the time, there's nothing you can say. There's nothing that makes it go away or makes it any better in the moment. I think you wait a few days, maybe a week, and you get together, play golf or whatever, and you kind of rehash things. But at the time, you know, yeah, I mean, it was as devastating for me, I think, as anybody else, because you put in so much and you put in so much work to get to that point, albeit I'm not on the field performing. I'm still ready to do so or helping the team in whatever capacity I could. And at that point, you know, I had a long career, and that was my opportunity to be a part of a championship football team. After a lot of hard work and time put in, and who knows, you never know when you're going to get another opportunity. You don't know. That could be it. You know, it could be one and never again. And when you miss out on that opportunity to get that ring, when you had things firmly in control through 3 quarters, you know, man, that's tough. And there was nothing I could say to Matt to make it better or, you know, change what had happened. It was just shocking.
Yeah.
On the sidelines during that game, during the second half, could you sense that there was, like, I don't know if there's a sense of panic or a sense of, oh my God, is this going to happen? Or was it still optimistic going into, you know, the fourth quarter? Like, we can still do this. We can still pull this out.
Heck yeah. I mean, there was still optimism. I mean, we had been rolling all through December, all through January as a football team. And, you know, there wasn't any moments where we had big leads and we had lost them or whatever. We were handling people pretty good. So, I mean, it was just a matter of let's go down and get one more score offensively in one of those drives, or like, let's just get one stop defensively. And obviously their offense had been rolling, and they went up and down the field a couple of times on us defensively and scored. And we just couldn't get anything going offensively. And we had one play, the one where Matt fumbled, Dante Tower came in unblocked and got a sack fumble and put them in good field position. We had a guy open down the field, and we just had an error in protection up front. And, you know, if Matt could have got that ball off, we would have had a touchdown easily and put that game out of reach to where they didn't have enough possessions left. But then we still had the opportunity when we got down there and late in the game when we were still up, I believe 8. And, you know, we had the sack, the holding, and missed an opportunity to just put some more points on the board and put it out of reach.
Yeah, Chris Long, your fellow Cavalier, really stuck it to you in that game. What was he like? Yeah, I have to assume that you probably knew of Chris Long when you were at UVA because of the pedigree.
Yeah.
He may have come on a recruiting visit. Was he more of a Scarface poster guy or a Pink Floyd poster guy, if you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I think Chris at that time, I think he was more of a Pink Floyd type of poster guy.
Yeah.
But you know, Chris lived in the area, and, you know, his family, they had a place outside of Charlottesville, so he was around a lot. Came on a recruiting visit, so everyone knew him. And I mean, man, when he was coming out of high school, he looked like he could go right into the NFL and play defensive line. He was, you know, he was built and put together. You could tell he had been working out with his dad and his brother since like the age of 2,
right?
Doing push-ups and squats and leg presses and all that. But what a great dude and a great guy. And, you know, man, when I was leaving Virginia and he was coming in, you knew the program and everything like that was in really good hands with a guy like that, with his pedigree and where he had come from. So, yeah, we overlapped just a little bit there on weekends and recruiting visits.
Yeah, he is a great dude. He's a good friend of ours. All right, so I had one last question or kind of statement. So you have a podcast that you're going to maybe pick back up called The Quarterback Corner with Doug Flutie. Now, so podcasting, I would assume some golf, and are you going to do the retired quarterback thing where it's like, it's time for me to be a dad?
Well, first and foremost, yes, I'm going to be a dad with my 5 kids. My wife has done so much to let me go out and play football and play a game. So I'm going to be in Carline, picking up kids, dropping off kids here for a little while and evaluate options, what might be next. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to play a little golf, you know, spend some time. just to decompress after a long career. But we'll see what's next. I mean, I'll see what Doug Flutie and Maggie Hetzel wants to do. We did all through, I guess, late spring and summer and early in the season, did a podcast, The Quarterback Corner. It was great to talk sports, talk football, while everything was kind of shut down and no one really knew what was going to happen. And it gave us an opportunity to just talk shop and talk X's and O's and do things like that. So we'll see if that comes back in the fold. And after that, who knows? Might play again. Who knows?
Yeah, no, you're not retired.
We're going to get you back.
Who knows?
Yeah.
The paper, I have not seen any retirement paperwork, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I actually, now in talking to you and thinking about this, I think you have the greatest life ever, because you now have, I mean, this isn't breaking news. People contracts in the NFL are public. You are wealthy. You had a 17-year career, and you're in that perfect spot where people probably don't hassle you when you're like shopping at the grocery store or in the car line, but when like every now and then someone be like, hey, what'd you do? And you're like, oh, I played a little football. Like, oh, really? You like college, high school? Like, no, 17 years in the NFL. That's like the greatest mic drop that you can throw out there in like small talk conversation.
Well, I appreciate that. And then you get follow up with, what do you do? And it's funny to see people's reaction when you say that, like when you respond with play football, whatever. And then what do you do? Because then when you show interest and then there's like, well, it's not, but it's still interesting, but it's like, but to most people, it's not as interesting as playing football.
Right.
So, I mean, definitely blessed and fortunate to have done this.
Yeah, you should. I mean, just a pro tip. If you do pick up the podcast again, keep saying, oh, I played football in the NFL. Don't say podcast, because when people ask us what we do and we say podcast, they immediately are like, so you're like a burned out loser.
Well, I think my response is just going to be, I went on Pardon My Take once for 30 minutes, got roasted by these guys. They tried to build me up. They knocked me down. But, hey, I made it through unscathed. That's going to be my claim to fame.
No, but we're building you back up again.
That's coaching, baby. That's coaching.
Yeah, I do feel like there is some buzz around Matt Schaub for the Hall of Fame.
I do too.
That. There's some buzz.
Palpable buzz.
No, I've heard there's people talking.
In this room, specifically.
Well, that's where it starts. Every idea has to start somewhere.
There's people.
It's a little seed that we're pouring water on right now.
Here's what we're gonna do, Matt. We got an acclaimed Big J journalist he's right off camera. He is our former intern but full-time employee, Jake Marsh, who went to Syracuse. He knows the journalism world. He's going to write a blog that says, "Is Matt Schaub a Hall of Famer?" And we're gonna cherry pick all those stats. And we're going to get the buzz going.
Oh, appreciate it. You guys are the best. That'd be great.
Yes, it's going to happen.
We just I was looking at it more. We just need to get Deshaun Watson off the Texans, because right now you own like every Houston Texans record.
Well, those things are made to be broken, and he eclipsed the single season passing thing, the other day. So I mean, he's going to rattle off and roll off all of those. And
he never threw 527 yards.
Jake, put down on the blog. Wow. Matt Schaub, great player, even better guy, because that was an even better guy answer.
Also, what about your holding ability? Have you ever botched a hold?
No. Say no.
No, I don't think so. No, I haven't.
Perfect career holding.
The one fire call that I had at Chicago back in 2006. I'm not driving anyone under the bus, but it was kind of a rough snap. It was like minus 30 degrees. So the snap was, I had to smother it in the ground, couldn't get it up. And so we had a little fire call that we had to do.
That one doesn't count. So best holder in the history of the NFL.
Yes. All right. Well, Matt,
the more they always say, the more you can do. And if you can hold, you can do all this different stuff. Then you can last 17 years.
Yes. We really appreciate you joining us, man, especially short notice. Congrats on the kind of retirement, but not retirement. Congrats on continuing your career as breaking news on Pardon My Take, but we really appreciate it, man.
You're going to play for another 5 years.
Yeah, you're good. So when you do retire officially, we'll have you back on.
Oh, appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks so much, man.
That interview with Matt Schaub was brought to you by our great friends over at Noom. We love Noom. I'm hungry. Big Cat's hungry. Mm-hmm. We're both getting hard. Is that what we're doing?
Hard bodies.
Hard bodies right now. If you want to get hard the old-fashioned way, you do it through a solid diet. Think about everything that you've learned about getting healthy. There's a lot of contradictory information out there, especially if you look to certain people in this room to give you dietary advice. And things like the old-fashioned food pyramid aren't much help. I remember looking at the food pyramid back when I was in like 6th grade and be like, damn, if I ate pie all day, I'd be the healthiest person in the world, because it's got fruit, it's got just nothing but carbs, Just the whole thing is made out of carbs, and that was the widest base. Turns out things have changed a little bit. You know how to chew, you know how to use chopsticks, maybe, and you know how to fold a slice of pizza so the cheese doesn't slide off, and you get that perfect first bite. But do you really know how to eat? Well, Noom says if you want to lose weight, it's not about one thing that you ate today, but how you eat in general. So to be honest, I'm still not actually sure what is good advice and what isn't in the past. But we know that it's how you eat in general, and Noom teaches you about eating, your cravings, and how to build new habits so you can ditch your misconceptions and get smart about food and the choices that you make. Do things that'll actually help. It's based in psychology, so Noom teaches you how to eat so you can accomplish your personal health goals and stick with them in the long term. It's not a crash diet because you don't need rules to lose weight, you need knowledge. With Noom, you pick the health goals that are right for you, and Noom will personalize a weight loss program to help your aspirations become reality. So there are specific goals that you might want to achieve with Noom. You might want to pick a physical goal that you want. You might have a psychological goal that you want, feeling good about your food choices, an improved sense of mood or less stress. You might feel more confident. That might be a goal that you have. Feel comfortable in a crowd or a social situation. Well, with Noom, you get food knowledge. It's very easy. It's 10 minutes a day. You get empathy. It's a program that's empathetic. It's okay to make a mistake once in a while. You just need to base your entire program on the right knowledge and making the right choices, and it's flexible. None of us have time. None of us have the schedule where we can commit to anything 100% of the time. Noom is flexible. It's going to help you out. It's based in psychology, and best of all, there's a science to getting healthier, and you can sign up for your trial today at Noom, noom.com/PMT. Learn how to eat again. Learn how to eat again with Noom. Sign up for your trial at Noom, noom.com/PMT, noom.com/PMT. And now, here's John Coon.
Okay, we now welcome on our good friend, John Coon. We talked about the Lowman to start the show. We thought we would get John Coon on, fullback extraordinaire, voice of the Packers on radio. I don't even know what you do. I don't really care, dude. Let's just get to it. Fuck you. I hate you.
I know you're mad. I jumped on you on Twitter when you said you hated Aaron Rodgers, and you probably should hate Aaron Rodgers, but I had to. You left it wide open.
Let me ask you this. Does Aaron Rodgers, you know him, you know the guy, does he take special pleasure in beating the Bears? Because it feels that way.
Well, you're damn Skippy. It just comes easy to him. It's like second nature.
All
Some
right.
people are really good at what they do, and when he plays the Bears, it's like he's in an extra groove. It's like he hits an extra gear.
Let me ask you this, because we've discussed the Packers all year, and the word that has come up more often than not is soft. The S word. Are the Packers, in fact, soft, or have they – because I feel like they kind of found an edge once the weather started to turn. Once it became football weather in Lambeau, that's when they started to turn it on.
It's crazy because I think this team that has a 13-3 record, just like last year's 13-3 record, is entirely different. One of the words that was brought up last year a lot with this Green Bay Packer team was soft. You're exactly right. And I think that moniker kind of stayed with them coming into 2020, but they have seemed to remove that the last 6 weeks of the regular season and going into 2021. I can't say – I don't think anybody out there can say they're soft anymore, the way this defense has been playing, especially with what it did against Tennessee when they were the number one offense in the league. So, to me, this is the best Green Bay Packer football team probably in a decade.
Yeah, no, obviously I'm biased. Obviously I have hate in my heart, but I also do pride myself on at least telling like somewhat truths. Last year, all year, I was like, they're frauds. They will get exposed. That happened. This year, anyone who listens to this show knows that I've clammed up in the last month. I actually said the Tennessee game was essentially like, if the Packers win that game convincingly, I will officially be on I'm nervous about the Packers winning the Super Bowl watch. I do not think they're frauds. I do agree with you that they're very good this year. What's the weakness? Like, what's the one, or maybe it's not even a specific unit, but like, what's the game flow that can get them kind of fucked up if you're an opponent looking at the NFC playoffs?
Kat, this is going to piss you off because I think the game plan offensively is a lot what the Bears did the last game, right? The way they started the game, you got to control the clock. You got to limit possessions for Aaron Rodgers, and the Bears did that. Where they failed in their game plan is you got to do it for 60 minutes and you got to score touchdowns. That's the only way you're going to beat this team this year because their offense is so efficient, number one in the red zone. And the way that they can score either quick as hell or take 7.5, 8 minutes off the clock, it doesn't really matter. They can beat you multiple ways on offense. So your best bet playing them is keep them on the sideline. I think a team's going to have to run the ball effectively, and then their defense is going to have to get pressure with 4 or 5 because you cannot leave the back end wide open and put a linebacker on the fastest man on the field and expect that to turn out okay.
Okay, well, what about this? What about the Packers beating themselves? Because the last time they looked really bad.
And the fastest man on the field, are you talking about MVS? Because he can't catch.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, what would you rather have, Big Cat? Would you rather have 1 for 2 or would you rather have 0 for 0? So I just say run that son of a bitch down the middle of the field every time. Throw it to him, and you get a touchdown 50% of the time. I'll call heads, you call tails, and we'll see what we get.
But my favorite thing to talk about when it comes to like a really great team is to be like, well, they can beat themselves. So that their own worst enemy could be themselves in the wrong instance. Like earlier this year, I remember they played the Bucs, and Aaron Rodgers sucked against the Bucs. So if Aaron, that was like
his little baby.
That was the rare game where he was doing baby pumps, and he was throwing pick sixes.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened that game? Because I need to go back in time and figure out like who he was mad at. Was he mad at LaFleur? Were they at each other's throats before that game? And he was like, I'm going to go out there and try to do some weird shit?
No, that game was crazy. Yeah, that game was crazy. And I'm going to go back in and watch it again this week because that's who I think they're going to have to play here in the divisional round when it comes around. But they started that game.
Huh?
What?
Wait, do you know it's a double
diss? Do you know who the Bucs are playing?
Wait, that's a double diss.
It's a two. Yeah, it's a twofer.
Oh, yeah.
Because if the Bears win, they play the Packers.
Yeah, it's a twofer.
And you're saying the Bears
John,
and the Washington football team are out.
If you want to come on this podcast and spit in our faces, maybe I need to reevaluate your credentials for the Lowman Council.
Oh, come on, guys. Listen, I'm just doing lockdown parlays here. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to throw you a couple parlays here.
Okay.
All right. So with the
seriously,
Bucs,
that Buccaneers game was a wild game. Aaron and Matt LaFleur actually handled the pressure that the Bucs threw at them early and led 10-0. I thought the way that they handled that was tremendous. However, their cornerbacks, the Bucs, they're notorious for this. If you ask scouts around the league, their corners like to sit down there and bait and jump on routes. And they got Aaron Rodgers. They got the best quarterback in the game this year. They baited him right into that quick pass to Davante Adams that we see him complete every single week. But that's the defensive scheme that they like to run. And when you score a touchdown defensively and then next series you intercept the ball and put it down on the 1 yard line, that's an enormous momentum swing. And then, as you guys remember, David Bakhtiari left that game. Making a switch mid-game is one of the hardest things to do for an offense, especially an offensive lineman going from the right side of the line to the left side of the line. They were in all kinds of trouble, a world of hurt. They were just kind of hit by a tidal wave there. I don't know if it plays out the same way if they play each other, but definitely the Buccaneers are one of those teams that have a set of skills that can compete with the Packers coming into Lambeau Field.
So the Bucs, and then what would you say, like ranking the other? Because listen, I know that you've already written off the Bears and the Washington football team. That's okay. We said on Monday's show we're just here for a good time.
Oh, I don't want to see Washington either.
There you go.
Yeah. You don't want to play the football team.
Hard to beat a team 3 times, John.
I have no fear of the Bears this year, honestly. This is not a schneid on the Bears, but this year, the trade that they had with swapping defensive end for defensive end with Leonard and Quinn, has not worked out in their favor. That seems to have hurt Khalil Mack. And when Akeem Hicks isn't being absolutely dominant at his position, drawing all kinds of attention, Khalil Mack isn't the same guy. He's getting too much double teams, too much attention from offensive coordinators to really be impactful this year. And most of that has to do with Leonard being out there now in LA and not with the Bears anymore.
Did you just say that Akeem Hicks might be the most important player on the Bears defense?
I've been calling that all year long.
No, I've been calling that forever. All right, you're a smart guy. Your football credentials check out. Wait, who's the most important player on the Packers defense and offense? Give it to us, because this is when you can separate the true football fans from the casual football fans. There's a difference between best player and most important player. So who is it for both sides?
Well, it's Aaron Rodgers. They've played 6 games
without
Davante
he's the best.
Adams for the last.
He's the best
They
player.
played 6 games without Davante Adams the last 2 years, and they've won all 6.
Yeah, Aaron Jones is the most important player.
Yeah, I was going to say Robert Tonyan.
Bobby Tunyon is, and we say it Tunyon now, fellas.
Yeah.
We got to make sure we get it phonetically correct. But Aaron Jones, yes, but gosh, man, how many times have we seen Jamal Williams and even A.J. Dillon a few weeks ago come in and do what Aaron Jones was not doing at that point in time in the game? Really bring an edge, bring a hard downhill physical run. I think Aaron Rodgers – you talked about that Bucs game. That's really the only blip on his radar, his season. Everything else, he's been absolutely lights out. And plus, guys, he gets the plays adjusted at the line of scrimmage. He's running LaFleur's all. He's basically walking up to the line of scrimmage every time with 2 to 3 plays, and he calls the play at the line of scrimmage for the offense. It's got to be Aaron Rodgers. But on defense, I honestly think the biggest impact player, the reason why their defense has really come along these last few weeks is because Adrian Amos is dropping in the box. Cat, that's going to make you mad.
Fuck you.
But he's dropped down in the box. But that guy has speed to cover, the free safety back end spot. But him being in the box in tighter quarters and not shying away from physicality, being an aggressive type of defender, really suits his set of skills. And it was a spot the Packers were missing for the longest time when they go, dime or what they call Bronco.
So I feel like what you brought up with Aaron Rodgers is really interesting about how LaFleur's given him this freedom, because it sounds a lot like a parent of a child. And this is like a teacher thing too, where you want to make the student or the kid feel like they're in control. So you give them 2 options that you've already pre-selected. So you're like, do you want to do the dishes or take out the trash? And then they're like, well, I'll take out the trash. But in reality, you just made them do a chore that you needed done. But they feel like they're in control of it. Would you say that LaFleur's biggest strength is that he makes Aaron Rodgers feel like he's the alpha?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to win an MVP award. So at some point in time, you got to really determine who the alpha is here. But you make a great point. Matt LaFleur, with what he's done this year, in the course of 2 years, last year this offense was not like this. And it's pretty much the same cast and characters, guys. So what's been the change? What's been the difference? Yeah, Robert Tonyan was injured last year. He had less catches last year than he has touchdowns this year. That's awesome. That's because he was injured, however. The rest of this offense is basically the same as what it was last year, and it's just that much better. I think Matt LaFleur really is using his guys to their set of skills. Like I said, forget messing around with MVS anywhere near the line of scrimmage. Run his ass straight down the middle of the field and make the whole defense turn around and run backwards trying to chase him. He's done a great job with that. He's done a great job with the connection with Aaron and Devontae Adams. And I don't really know what else to say about this offense other than they're the best in the league.
Well, let me say this, and you should maybe talk to Aaron about this. Could you imagine, and I'm just throwing this out there, could you imagine this offense if they had Chase Claypool or T. Higgins on it? Those guys were available when they drafted a backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. Just saying, that would be insane.
Oh, yeah. It would be incredible. I mean, they would have broken all the records.
Yeah, that's crazy, John. Right? Sounds like they should have.
He would have won the MVP for sure.
Wow.
Nobody would be talking about Derrick Henry as a possible candidate.
Okay.
What about, maybe I'm looking back over the timeline of this last year, back in June or July, Danica and her crystals left town. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers' talent is fully unleashed on us.
Yeah.
With the crystals holding him back.
I actually do think that in a weird way, and Aaron Rodgers probably never say this out loud, but I think he said something like this after the draft, but drafting Jordan Love, he does seem like a chip on his shoulder type of guy, where it's like if people, I mean, we've heard the stories about how getting past in his draft and falling all the way in that green room pissed him off. So when he's pissed off, he clearly plays better.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, was the drafting of Jordan Love, is that what inspired Aaron Rodgers to be this great this year? I don't know. Aaron credits a pass that he watched himself throw from practice in 2010. I don't know if I buy that. He also credits squatting 405 pounds now. I don't know if I
believe that. No, I don't. Wait, he went back and watched a pass that he threw from 10 years ago. What was he doing?
I actually do believe that because he's going back. He's a psycho.
He has not, gone into the detail of this pass. He promised us that he will let us know at the end of the season what the pass was, who it was to, all the details about it, and why it made such an impact on him this year. And yeah, that might be a cool little niche story. And squatting 405 pounds might be a great story for a quarterback. But guys, you saw the Jordan documentary, right? Because that's what it was. It was a Jordan documentary. Think about how many times he said, and that's when I made it personal. And what did he do every time he made it personal? He was an absolute rock star. Did Aaron Rodgers make it personal this year? I think so.
All right.
So he punched Jordan Love in the face during practice is what I'm hearing from you.
Correct. All right, let's talk real quick, John, about the Lowman Trophy. So this is obviously going out on Wednesday. We already had it, but can you tell us who you voted for and why?
Yeah, I voted for Mason Stockey to win it. And you talk about a guy who started the season on his football team with the first touchdown of the year. And he goes to fullback U. I know Wisconsin fullbacks have won this award like 3 years in a row, but I still can't help it. He played in all the games for the Badgers this year. He played very well. In fact, they had a couple packages where they had 3 fullbacks in the backfield at the same time. Who doesn't love that? That's like a fullback's wet dream. So, yeah, I had to go with Mason Stockey as my vote. Plus, I'm trying to take the guy under my wing and do a little bit of training with him this offseason and see if I can't help him out before he gets into the league, get a couple fullback assists next year.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I like that. It's kind of one of these damned if you do, damned if you don't situations with Wisconsin fullbacks because they've got so many of them. And it was awesome watching them in the Mayo Bowl when they had plays where they'd have
Mayo Bowl was awesome.
Yeah, they'd have like 2 fullbacks blocking for a third fullback who was getting the carry. But it might be a situation where they split each other's votes. In fact, since this is coming out on Wednesday, I can tell you this is embargoed though, John. You can't say this until after 6 p.m. Eastern tonight.
I won't tell anybody.
He came in second place, so it was the closest vote.
Okay.
He lost by.
Tell me who got. Was it Army? Was it the Army fullback?
It was.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the Buchanan ball.
That I can live with. When you played 11 games with COVID this year, and you basically said this to COVID, I can appreciate that to a guy who goes out there and runs the football in a wing T style option offense. That's good. I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, he's 260 pounds, 6 feet. So like that's he is a bowling ball.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, he is the winner. We appreciate you being on the committee. I had a quick question for you about like end of the year stuff. So you've played on the Saints, obviously. You played for Sean Payton. Does he really try to get all of his guys paid? Like, does he know going into games, this guy, if he gets 2 more receptions, or if this guy scores 1 more rushing touchdown, he hits an escalator in the contract, I'm going to try to get him some more of the owner's money, and that's why players like playing for me?
He is such a player's coach. He's a terrific mind. He loves to find ways to get his stars the ball at specific times when they can be successful. So, yeah, so they can reap all the rewards. But I'll take it a step further. It's not just getting paid. I can remember Michael Thomas's second year. He had an opportunity to have the most catches out of anybody in NFL history through their first 2 seasons. And we were playing down in Tampa. We had a division locked up. We had seen that Carolina had already lost, so we were safe to lose the game, and we were getting beat. And we throw, I was 2-3 back-to-back just wide receiver hitches to Michael Thomas. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell are you doing right now? You're going to get Mike T hurt. We need him for the playoffs because he was balling at that time. What is going on? I found out after the game that he did it just so that Michael Thomas could set that NFL record. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
All right, John. Worst of luck to you, dude. I'm worried. I'm actually worried. I'm very, very worried about the Packers. Like I said, I am at least honest that like last year I felt confident that they were going to blow it. This year I don't feel as confident. I'm just praying. So I don't know. I just hate the Bears and the Packers games are the worst days of my life.
I'll tell you the truth. We won it in 2010. 2011, I felt like we were going to win it. 2014, I felt we had a very good shot to win it, but we had to travel to Seattle. Every other year I played, I was scared to death of some team out there that we would have to face at some point in time. Even last year for this Packer team, I had some reservations. This year, honestly, I look around and I don't know if it's something in the stars, how efficient Aaron Rodgers and the offense is, or the fact that the defense is actually like borderline right on the edge, top 10 defense, which Aaron Rodgers has almost never had. Or maybe it's all 3 of them combined. I do, man. I really think they have a strong chance to make a case for that Super Bowl championship.
So who's the one team, though, that can do it? Like, I know you said earlier the football team, you don't want to see them, but you're just being nice to me. They do have Team of Destiny vibes. Would it be the Saints?
No, I'm not. And I love the Saints, and I would love nothing more than an NFC championship with the Packers Saints and just let them go at it, let them duel it out. Because I know how Sean Payton would coach that game. He would try and take the ball as much as possible out of Brees' hands. You guys don't believe that, but he would. Go look at what happened when they went and played Seattle and the Legion of Boom up there in Seattle when they went 7-9 and they ended up losing to the Beastquake. He didn't even try and throw in that game. All they did was run power and try and slug it out with him. He would do the same thing with Alvin Kamara. He'd do the same thing with Latavius Murray. He would try and outthink and outcoach Matt LaFleur up at Lambeau Field. I think it'd be a tremendous game to watch, but I think they'd come up a little bit short. I think the teams truly to worry for the Green Bay Packers are in the AFC. I think it's the Chiefs with their ability to score really fast, and I think it's the Buffalo Bills because Josh Allen somehow grew a hose in the last offseason and can throw the ball at any point in time on the field to any spot on the field. So those two teams scare me a little bit if they happen to make it to the Super Bowl and if the Packers happen to make it to the Super Bowl. But I was serious about the football team. We saw them last year. They had like 6 sacks against the Packers, and that defensive front with the 15 first-round picks that they have, that's a scary proposition for somebody to have to drop back and try and make sure they get rid of the ball before they get munched on by one of these 6'6", 300-pound guys.
Yep.
I like munched on.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna munch. We're gonna munch this weekend.
All right, well, John, thank you for participating in the Lowman Trophy as always. You're one of the best voters we have. And I'll take it back. I like you.
Am I the only one that responds?
No. He's got
everyone.
We got you, Lorenzo. I mean, I can get into all of them, but it's going to take a while. I'm going to leave somebody out. Alec Ingold,
right.
T-Bob Haybear,
Hank Fornelli.
We got a lot of guys out there. Anthony Sherman votes.
Can we talk about how
Aaron
Danny
Ripkowski
Vitale ghosted us?
Who? Oh, yeah.
Can we talk about how Danny Vitale has ghosted us?
Yeah,
Took a year off. He took a leap year.
We think that Danny. I think he's off the grid right now. I think he's gone like full Thoreau. Who's the guy from Into the Wild?
Ted Kaczynski.
Christopher McCandless. Yeah. So Danny he's lost everybody's number. He doesn't have a phone anymore. He doesn't have a Twitter account. Doesn't have an Instagram. If you know Danny Vitale, let us know that he's okay and that he's not in a shed building bombs.
Milk cartons.
Yeah. Okay, we'll find him. But John, thank you, and hopefully we see you soon, man.
Always fun, guys.
That interview was brought to you by our great friends over at ZipRecruiter. It's finally New Year. It's a perfect time to take your business to the next level. It's Q1, right? Is this Q1?
Yeah, we're in Q1.
Q1 squad. Mount up. It's Q1. Time to start all over again. Time to start the year with a brand new P&L, and you need to find quality candidates to help you out to take your business to the next level. Best way to do that is with ZipRecruiter. So go to ZipRecruiter.com/PMT. I remember back in a former life, I was hiring. I was in charge of hiring new people at my sales job. And one of the ways that would eat up most of my day would be sorting through resumes, trying to post job listings in the right places online, and ended up getting, maybe 1 out of every 10 candidates would be qualified. I wish I had used ZipRecruiter back then. It makes it so easy. It saves you time as a business owner, as a business runner. It saves you a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it goes out of its way to attract quality candidates. So the people that apply to the job are people who want to be working for your company and not somebody that applies to a job using some sort of like mass mail out where they just send their resume out into the ether, wasted their time, wasted your time. So use ZipRecruiter.com/PMT. They're going to help you out. When you post a job on ZipRecruiter, it gets sent out to 100 top job sites with just 1 click. It saves you time. So effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the very first day. Right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/PMT. That's ZipRecruiter.com/PMT. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Okay, let's wrap up. We got guys on chicks. Hank?
Ladies.
How do you break the poop error with your boyfriend?
Oh.
What?
Poop berry, a lot of lube.
I would assume this is just pooping in an apartment.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Have the conversation. So it sounds like you want to break the poop barrier.
Oh, I wouldn't.
I
would just pretend you're showering.
You gotta leave some things mysterious.
Pretend you're showering.
You can say,
turn on the shower.
I'm showering again. You could say, like, I'm just going to be in the bathroom for. This is why it should be a code in America where every single apartment listed for 2 people has to have at least 1.5 bathrooms in it.
Yeah, just do the shower though. Run the water. get some matches. It's not that hard.
How much? I mean, obviously, Leroy, rest in peace. But how much would you guys analyze your dog's poops, like for health and stuff?
Is there a follow-up question here about Normie? Is Normie okay?
No, I just do it. Like I'll be picking up his poop, and I'm always like, take a look. I'm like, oh, what's the color like
Hank,
today? Like, what's
Hank, I'm
what's
happy
going
you
on
brought
here?
up Normie.
I used to have a bearded dragon, and you could see, like, if you fed him a mouse, you could see.
I don't know if you want to do what you're about to do.
I don't want to do what I'm about to do, but I've seen some videos of a very, let's just call him riled up Norman. What's going on? Is this dog?
Dude, Norm peed in the house last night.
Is he still?
While
just
Hank was playing video. I think he's
horny all the time.
He's got an absentee father.
Yeah. What's up with him?
Oh, he's got a bear that he really likes, and when they get together, he's a guy.
He's
a
taking
guy.
hard body a little bit too
He's just
far.
like us.
Has he gotten spayed and neutered?
Yes, he has.
So this
both
is
of
just
them.
for
Wow.
life now. He's just gonna be fucking shit for life.
Yeah, probably.
He's like Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, and like he will, I brought him to my parents for break. We didn't bring the his fucked bear.
And he was just depressed the whole time.
So when he was back, he was really excited.
Yeah, I mean that's like a
Okay.
teenager that gets the house to themselves for the first time in a week.
Yeah.
All right, let's just pretend this is real for a second.
Yeah.
Humor this person.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, PMT fellas. My boyfriend and I have been together for 7 years, and we're 21 years old. He's very sweet, kind, loving, caring, good in bed, and always goes out of his way for me.
You
There's
probably
just
don't know
one
any better.
problem.
Like 21 years old, been with the same guy for 7 years.
Correct.
He is just in bed. You were in bed at the same time as him.
There's just one problem. He had an affair with my dad. But he has no idea that I know. My sister found out because she caught him through a baby monitor from my cousin. What in the world should I do?
It's just kid stuff. You should make a documentary about it called Vanished in Plain Sight. So
I don't know. I
cheating,
don't know.
I think you
don't know.
I think you have to sleep with his mom.
I don't know. Yeah. I think you need to address this. If this were real,
Do you address it with the boyfriend or the dad first?
I think both at the same time.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
Yeah.
then
Let
it
him
gets
just
real hot.
go. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna. If this were real, and this were 100% real, I do think this is something that, and I'm giving a real answer here, you want to talk about at some point. It feels relevant.
It also
Billy?
feels strange
The
that
doctor
this
was the mother,
relationship is still going on at this point.
It's
Well,
gay.
7 years.
It was.
No,
It was.
no. I'm saying, do you really trust your sister though?
Oh.
She was the one who said she saw it.
Oh,
So it could just be
plot
like,
twist.
if you were a jealous sister and you wanted to cause an issue, you'd be like,
Billy,
yo, I
good.
saw your boyfriend
Good
and
addition,
dad
Billy.
on the baby monitor.
Good addition, Billy.
Classic, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. Billy got it.
Okay.
Like every
A tale
sister
as old
that's
as
jealous
time.
is like, yo, I saw your boyfriend sucking dad's
But
dick.
also remember, this is a sister
who
that
hasn't had that happen?
This is a sister who's seen a 7-year relationship.
What?
And
Yeah.
might also
she wants her own.
Yeah.
Or what about this? What if the dad doesn't like the boyfriend? Is like, we need to get rid of this guy because he's going to propose and then he'll
Yep.
be in my life forever. So he told the sister, tell her that you saw me sucking his dick. And then if she comes to me, I'll admit it.
Oh.
And then the boyfriend's gonna be like, what the hell is going on?
One further, he's like, listen, the boyfriend will be able to talk his way out of it. We got to make this so real they can't. I'm gonna get him to suck my dick.
Yeah, so that we break
perfect crime.
Yeah, we break
Or-
them up.
crime.
Or the father and boyfriend were wrestling
Yeah,
and they made
which
it look
you
like
definitely have done.
what?
Just that's a Billy take. A Billy take is like, well, what if they just like caught each other's eyes and they started wrestling? And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm saying you you would just
grown,
wrestle
like,
guy. You just like,
two
hey dude,
consenting
want to wrestle?
guys can wrestle.
Wrestle.
It's fine.
You've
Yes,
never
I'm
wrestled a girlfriend's dad?
I'm not saying this in a joking way. I'm saying
it's mutual
this is
respect.
why people sometimes are like, why is Billy? What you don't understand is Billy is untapped, unfiltered, straight from the source, straight from the Rocky Mountains, bro. So when he hears this, he's like, well, they could be wrestling.
But Billy's right because like
It's a very
there's like an
common practice.
unspoken. Yeah, it is.
It's a very
There's
common
an
practice.
I know.
unspoken thing sometimes where it's like The two people that are closest to this girl in her life are her father and her boyfriend at the time.
It happens in the wilderness
guys
all the
just
time.
see each other, you make eye contact, and you start wrestling.
Watch a Planet Earth
it's
for
happened.
me once.
He's
Two
testing-
fucking guy, the two bucks going at each other.
In that video from Hong Kong, I was walking around wearing pink shorts and no shirt while I was on MDMA.
Drugs.
There was another guy. He walked by. We looked at each other and we just started wrestling. And it was guy stuff.
Yeah.
And you just shake hands. Sometimes in nature, you just see another person and
Wrestling.
you got to wrestle.
He's making sure that he can
Mano
defend
y mano.
his daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mano y
and
mano.
he was doing it like Greco-Roman style,
Right.
back in the day.
Okay, well, we've given you enough to chew on.
All right, a couple more. Sup, boys, and Happy New Year. My fiance and I just got engaged in September after being together for 8 years. I've asked him on more than one occasion if he would ever make a sex tape, and he always says no, but if he asks me, I always say yes. He thinks it's weird and always drops the conversation. Does he actually hate me?
No.
I don't think so.
I think he just doesn't want to make
Sounds
a
like
sex
you have
tape.
different goals.
I think he's probably a little woke on Big Brother, looking at everything, which is the correct way to do it,
And
right?
He probably gets weirded out by the conversation a lot. Like, well, you're very eager for this. Are there tapes of you I should know about?
How often have you been bringing this up? Sounds like a lot. Billy, we want to tell people, the young people who are listening, why your cautionary tale of why you shouldn't do a sex tape?
I think Snapchat is going to have a huge blackmail on future politicians,
Agreed.
and we should make sure that
Okay.
that
Yeah.
cloud gets deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
'Cause,
should.
like, it's going to
For the politicians, not
No,
for
no.
you.
No, not for me, but like
Right,
in
for
the
the
future. Like think about it.
politicians.
Think about it. Like you have a bunch of dumb 14-year-olds and teenagers and stuff, and then in the future,
Yeah.
they might become important people,
Oh,
and there's
right,
a
yeah.
whole cloud of data.
Other
Right.
people.
This is like not
Not
even
you.
a joke.
Yeah.
Right. No, politicians.
I think that there will be a scandal that happens in the next like 20 years where a Comcast or a major internet service provider just gets hacked, or they release a bunch of documents, and it's just everybody's search history and everybody's internet history. But guess what? At that point, we're all fucked together.
But like we'll probably be judging future presidential candidates on like stupid Snapchats
Right.
of them, like
Probably
chugging
can't win
beers and
the
stuff.
presidency with that.
But it might actually
might
because
be
our
like-
society gets so fucked up.
Right.
We might be like, yo, that guy's shotgun was 2 seconds, his was 4.
Uh-huh.
I want the 2-second guy.
Got
Or it
it.
might be like, this dude's shit is huge and hilarious.
Yeah.
The guy with the biggest shit on Snapchat
Exactly.
gets to be president.
Shotgun is 4 seconds. What a pussy.
All right, we'll end with this one. Is eating a single Eggo waffle versus 2 sociopathic behavior perhaps early warning sign for future serial killer?
No, just eat waffles as you please.
No, but no.
I'm pro waffle in any circumstance.
No, but eating one, you can't eat one. You got to eat 2. That's the question. Is you got to eat. Like,
What
just
if you-
eating one?
but what if
it
you-
comes in a pack of 2,
But
right?
what if you save one for later?
Well, that you're still eating 2.
Yeah, but you're not eating 2 right then. I'm
There's
eating,
no way that one
I'm
fills
against-
you up.
Yeah,
Eggo
no
shaming.
chance. No chance one fills you up. 0 chance.
What if somebody steals your Eggo?
Well, that's
Then you
not
gotta
on
say,
you.
let go.
But two, you have to eat 2. Always eat 2. How can you not eat 3, 4? Maybe that's why someone comes back and they're like, "What? You only ate 1?" It's like, no, I actually ate 3.
Dude, you realize what's happened to us. We've been brainwashed by Eggo.
Mm-hmm.
Because the entire premise of their commercials from like the 80s and 90s were somebody trying to steal one of your Eggos, and you'd say, "Let go my Eggo."
Bro.
And now it's like you cannot let that happen.
Why do you think Pringles are so popular?
Because once you pop, you can't. What
You
about
have
Lay's?
to finish all the Pringles.
What about Lay's?
What was that?
I bet you can't eat just one.
There you go. Tootsie Roll Pops. They got us.
How many licks?
They got us. 1, 2, 3. Love that guy.
The owl.
Right after my own heart. Just fucking take a bite. Go Sav mode on it.
Billy, you got an animal fact for us?
Yeah,
Before we
in
play
numbers.
balls?
Male and female hyenas both have penises.
That's pretty cool, I guess.
Oh, go.
That's
go,
it, very
100,
inclusive.
100,
18. 8.
5.
14.
90,
And I'm
said
trying
Liam.
not to
What'd you
get
say,
it.
Hank?
5. No
Did
ma.
you say
8. Always 8.
80. What'd you say, Liam? 98.
45.
Brian Arakpo. Love you
Wasn't
guys.
Warren Sapp 98?
Love you guys.